Okay, this is 2018 Kcse Maths Paper 2, question number 1, that is in section A, where you are supposed to answer all the questions on the space provided. So question number 1 was, given that 2 log x squared plus log square root of x is equals to k log x, find the value of k. In this question, we are going to apply the rules of logarithm. So we can have, our question is 2, the logarithm of x squared plus the logarithm of the root of x is equals to k logarithm of x. So remember, we are given that if we have log a squared, we can write it as 2 log a. So we are going to apply this. So this 2 will come up here. So we have our expression as logarithm of x. Now, because 2 times 2 is 4, so it is logarithm of x to power 4 plus logarithm of, now logarithm of the root of x can be written as logarithm raised to power a half, that is the same as root, and this will be the logarithm of x raised to power k. Applying the first row of logarithm, we can write this as a single logarithm, that is the left hand side here. We write it as the logarithm. When we have plus, we write it is x to power 4 multiplied by x to power a half. So that's how you write it, is equals to the logarithm of x to power k. Now, from there, we now get the anti-logarithm, which is the same as cancelling log to both sides, and x times a half, this will be x, we add 4 and a half because we have a common base, then we have x raised to power 4.5, which is the same as 4 and a half, is equals to the x to power k. Because now we have the same, we now have the same base, which is x, it implies that our k is equals to 4.5. That is, the powers are the same. So if we have x to power raised to power 4.5 is equals to x to power k, then the same as 4.5, and that is how you do that question. And so this is 2018 Mathematics Paper 2, question number 2, and it says a variable p varies directly as t cubed and inversely as the square root of s. When t is equals to 2, s is equals to 9, p is equals to 16. Determine the equation connecting p and t and s. Hence, find p when s is 36 and t is equals to 3. So this is how we start. We first of all write the relationship between p, t, and s. So we are told p is directly proportional to t cubed divided by the square, and inversely proportional to the square root of s. Once we have that, then we can write the equation connecting p and t and s. So our p is equals to k t cubed divided by the square root of s. Since we are given t is equals to 2, s is equals to 9, and p is equals to 16, so we can get our k by writing that 16, the value of k is equals to k multiplied by 2 cubed, the value of t, divided by the square root of 9, which is the value of s. We can get our k by writing this. So the square root of 9 is 3, so we cross multiply here. Therefore, our k is equals to 16 multiplied by 3, and we divide by 2 cubed is 8. So 16 divided by 8 is 2. So we have 2 there, which means that our K is equals to 6. Therefore, the equation connecting P, T, and S will be P is equals to 6 T cubed divided by the square root of S. We are told that we find the value of P when S is at 6 and T is 3. So we come here and say that our P is equals to 6 multiplied by T, which is 3. So it is 3 cubed divided by the square root of 36. This is equals to 6 multiplied by 27 divided by the square root of 36 is 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. This implies that P is equals to 27. So this is Mathematics Paper 2 2018, question number 3, and says, Asia invested some money in a financial institution. The financial institution offered 6% per annum compound interest the first year and 7% per annum in the second year. At the end of the second year, Asia had 170,130 in the financial institution. Determine the amount of money Asia invested. So here we start by saying we read the 130 is the money he got at the end of the second year. So this is equals to the amount he had obtained in the first year multiplied by 1 plus the second year was 7% of 100 divided, so we say this is to power 1. So once we get that, you get our A is equals to 170,130 divided by, this will be 1.07, and this will give you 159,000 using your calculator. So this is the amount he got in the second year. That means in the first year amount was 159,000 is equals to the principal, the amount of money he had invested, 1 plus 6 pi over 100 to power 1. Now to get our P, then it means that we divide 159 by 1.06, so our P is equals to 159,000 you divide by 1.06 using your calculator. When you divide that, you get our P is equals to 150,000. So that is the amount he had invested in the bank or the institution for him to get 170,130. That is how you work it out. You earn yourself 3 marks. So this is Mathematics 2018 Kcse paper 2. We are given a figure here. We are told it's a wedge. So this wedge named A, B, C, D, E, and F. We are told EF is 10, angle FB is 45, and angle between the plane A, B, F, and E, and A, B, C, and D is 20. So the projection of these two planes is BF. Therefore, we can label this angle is 20 degrees. Now, since this angle is 90 and this angle is 45, it means that these two lines are the same. So BF is 10 centimeter. So once you get that, this angle here is also 45 degrees. if it is a wedge, it means B, F, and C is an isosceles triangle, and therefore this angle here is BF is the same as BC, so this is 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter is what we are required to find, and I don't know why they are saying correct one decimal place, because BC is exactly 10, so we can say BC is equals to 10 centimeter, which we don't have a decimal, and that's the way I think it should be worked out. So this is Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, 2018, and we are required to simplify this. So the square root of 54 can be written as square root of 9 multiplied by 6 plus 3 the root of 3 divided by the root of 3. From there, the square root of 9 is 3, so we can write this is 3. The square root of 6 can be separated to be square root of 2 and square root of 3. Then we add to 3 the square root of 3. This is divided by the root of 3. From there, we can factor out root 3 here. So we'll be left with, we will have root 3 outside. Here we'll be left with 3 root 2 plus 3 divided by the root of 3. Then we can now cancel. Divide root 3 by root 3 is 1. So this gives us 3 the root of 2 plus 3. And that is the simplest form we can leave that expression. So this is 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 6, where we are told in the figure below AB is a tangent to a circle. So this is our tangent AB, center O and radius 6 centimeter. The arc AC subtends an angle of 60 degrees at the center of the circle. So we have the diagram here showing the angle, the radius, the tangent, and we are required to calculate the area of the shaded region. So for us to be able to calculate the area of the shaded region, we need to calculate the area of the triangle, that is triangle OAB, and then we minus the area of the sector, that is OA and C. So for us to do that, we need to find AB, and for us to find AB, we have this angle here. The tangent makes an angle of 90 with the radius, so we can get AB by using the tangent. So we say the tan of 60 degrees is equals to, the tan is opposite direction, which is AB, divided by the adjacent, which is the radius, which is 6, implying that AB is equals to 6 tangent of 60 degrees. And when you work out that using your calculator, you find that AB is 10.4 centimeter. So that is the length of AB. Having gotten that, then we can find the area of triangle AOB. So we say area of triangle OAB is equals to a half base, that is a half, base is 6 multiplied by height, which we have found is 10.4, that is AB. And when you work out that, you should get 31.2 centimeter squared. So that is the area. Then we look for the area of the sector. Area of the sector, we can say area of the sector that is OAC. So we say area of the sector OAC is equals to, we use the angle 60. 60 divided by 360 degrees, you multiply by pi, which is 22/7. You multiply by radius squared, 36 times 6, and that should give you, you should get 18.8 centimeters squared. So having obtained the area of the sector, we can now get the area of the shaded region, which we said it is equals to area of triangle OAB, and you subtract the area of sector OAC. So this means shaded area is equals to the area of the triangle is at 1.2, you minus the area of the sector, which is 18.8, and when you subtract that, you should get 12.4 centimeters squared. So that is the area of the shaded region, and that is how you work it out, and with that you earn yourself a whole mark. So that's how you work out that question. So in this question, you are required to solve the equation 3x squared plus 8x minus 6 is equals to 0, correct to 3 significant figures. So in this equation, you need to make the coefficient of x squared to be 1. So we divide out through by 3, and we take minus 6 to the other side, becomes 6. So you have x squared, and then we have plus 8 divided by 3x is equals to 6 divided by 3. So when you work out this, you get x squared plus 8 over 3x is equals to 2. After that, to complete the square, we have the coefficient of x to both sides. So we have x squared plus 8 over 3x plus 8 over 3, you divide by 2, is equals to 2 plus 8 over 3 times 2. This is squared to both sides so that we balance the equation. From there, we now take, when you multiply this, it is 3 times 2 is 6, divide by 2, so 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we have, you take x plus 4 over 3 into bracket squared is equals to, when you multiply this, you get 2 plus 8 squared will be 64, and we have 6 squared is 36. Then we get the square root for both sides. So when you work out using your calculator, that is the square root of that, you get x plus 4 over 3 is equals to plus or minus, this is why we have plus or minus, the square root. Using your calculator, you find that this is 34 divided by 9. Then we take 4 over 3 to the other side, becomes minus. So our x is equals to minus 4 over 3 plus or minus the square root of 34, and the square root of 9 is 3. So we have a common denominator, so we have x is equals to minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 34 divided by 3, and this will give you x is equals to minus 4 plus a square root of 34 over 3, or minus 4 minus the square root of 34 divided by 3, and using your calculator, you should get x is equals to 0.610 or minus 3.28. This is to 3 significant figures. So that's how you work out that question, and you earn yourself 3 marks. So in this question, we are told 3 workers working 8 hours per day can complete a task in 5 days. Each worker is paid 40 shillings per hour. Calculate the cost of hiring 5 workers working if they work 6 hours per day to complete the same task. So first of all, we need to find the number of days, then calculate the cost. So we let W represent the number of workers, which are there are 3. Let H represent the number of hours, 8, and let D represent the number of days, which is 5. So we are told now we have 5 workers. We have they are working for 6 hours, and we are required to find the number of days. Now we say that initially they were working for 5 days. 5 days. What will happen when we make the changes? That is, increase the number of workers, decrease the number of hours. So we say our x is equals to, we have 5. What will happen to the number of days when we increase the workers? When we increase the workers, the number of days should reduce by the ratio of 3:5 multiplied by, when you decrease the number of hours, the number of days should increase in the same ratio of 8:6. So when you work out that 5 divided by 5 is 1, 5 divided by 5 is 1, then we have 3 divided by 6 divided by 3 is 2, the 3 is 1, so we have 8 divided by 2 is 4, so it is equals to 4 days. Now we need to get the cost, so the cost involved will be cost we have is equals to, we have 5 workers working for 6 hours, and they work for 4 days, and they will be paid at the rate of 40. So using your calculator, you should multiply that, and you get 4,800 shillings. So that is the cost of completing that task when we make those changes, and there you earn yourself 3 marks. So this is question number 9, that is 2018 Maths paper 2, whereby we are told the table below represent a relationship between 2 variables, x and y. So we have the table there. When x is 1, y is 3.5. When x is 2, y is 4.5, on and on until when x is 6, y is 13. On the grid provided, draw the lines of the best fit. So let's first of all plot the values that we have. So we start by labeling our axis. So we have, this is where we have 0. The x-axis we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is our x-axis. The lowest value is 3 and the highest is 13. So let's take 3 big squares to represent 5 units. So we have that is 5. Then another 3 you have 10. Then another 3 we have 15, and that is our y-axis. So that is how, and you must label your axis. From there we have we plot our points. When x is 1, y is 3.5. So here is where we have 1. 3 small squares represent 1, so we have that is 1, this is 2, we have this is 3, and therefore 1.5 point, that is where you have 3.5. When x is 2, y is 4.5, so this is 3 here, so we have from 4 we have 4, and 4.5 is where we have the middle point, that point approximately. Then we have 3. When x is 3, y is 8, so 8 we have that is 9, 8 you have it somewhere there. Then when x is 4, y is 8.5, so 8.5 will be there. Then when x is 5, y is 11, so you have 11 will be 1, 2, 3, will be somewhere there. Then when x is, y is 13, so here is where we have 10, so 11, 11, 12, then we have 13, so here we have 10, that is 11, we have 12, then we have from there we have 13, so that is where we have 13 when x is 6. So those are the points that we have been given in the table, and if you look at this point, they don't coincide. So the best line of fit is a line that you can plot that passes near the majority of the points that we have on our grid. So let's go ahead and plot that line. So to the best I can do, this is the line that passes near majority of the points, and therefore this is the best line of fit. From there we go to part B of the question. So part B of the question, this is where part B, use a graph to find the value of y when x is 0, and there you are awarded 1 mark. So when x is 0, this is where we have x is equals to 0. The value of x is 1, because we had assigned 3 small squares to represent 1. So it passes near 1, and therefore we say that when x is equals to 0, y is equals to 1, and then because we cannot be very accurate, we say it is 1 plus or minus 0.25. And that's how you do that question to earn yourself 4 marks. So this is 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 10. State the amplitude and the phase angle of the curve y is equals to 2 sine into bracket 2/3 x minus 30. So the amplitude, I'll be covering this topic soon. So this is the amplitude, the value, the constant that is multiplied by the function. So we can say amplitude is equals to 2. Then phase angle. We say it is equals to, okay, here we have minus 30. So we say the phase angle is 30 degrees. You divide by the constant that is multiplied by the x. So here we divide by 3/2, and this is going to give us 30 multiplied by 2/3. So this is 30 degrees. So we cancel there, we get 10 degrees. So the phase angle is equal to 20 degrees. So that's how you get your 2 marks. So this is 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 11. the mass in kilograms of 9 sheep in a pen were 13, 8, 16, 17, up to 11. Determine the quartile division of the data. So the first thing we need to do is to arrange this data in ascending order. That is starting with the smallest, where the smallest is 8, followed by 11, followed by 13, followed by 14, followed by 15, followed by 16, followed by 17, 19, and finally we have 20. So the number of data we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it means the middle value is 15. So below we have 4 values, and up per part we have 4 values. So quartile 1 will be the average of 11 and 13, and that quartile will be an average of 17 and 19. So we say that Q1 is equals to 11 plus 13 divided by 2, and this should give you 12. Then Q3 is equals to 17 plus 19 divided by 2, and that should give you 18. So quartile division is equals to the average of these two, and that is 12.5 into bracket, that is the difference of the upper quartile and the lower quartile. We have 18 minus 12, and that should give you 18 minus 12 is 6. 6 times a half will give you 3. So that is the quartile division of this data, and you earn yourself 3 marks. So 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 12. The position of 2 points C and D on the Earth's surface are theta to the north, 10 degrees to the east, theta to the north, and 30 degrees to the east, respectively. The distance between the 2 points is 600 nautical miles. Determine the latitude on which C and D rise. So to do this question, we need to find the longitude difference. So we say longitude difference is equals to 30 minus 10. That is this minus 10, and that should give you 20 degrees. So because we have been given the distance in nautical miles, you say 600 nautical miles is equals to the longitude difference, which is 20, multiplied by 60 degrees, the cosine of theta. So once you divide both sides by 20 times 60, divide both sides by 20 by 60, so this goes, so this will give us that is 10, and that will give us a half. So cos theta is equals to 0.5, and so if we know the cosine of theta is 0.5, then theta is equals to 60 degrees. So we can say that latitude is equals to 60 degrees to the north. That's how we work out that question. So question number 13 of 2018 Mathematics Paper 2. We have been given a diagram here, So we are told in the figure below, OP, this is our vector OP is equals to P, OR is equals to R, PQ, the ratio of PQ and QR is 1 and 2, and we are also told PS is equals to 3PR. So if this is our PS here is 1, then it means this other one is 3, so that not 3 but 2, so that we have PS is equals to 3PR. PR fit onto PS 3 times. Okay, so with that information, we are told to find express QS in terms of P and Q. Now we start with OQ. We say that OQ is equals to, using the ratio theorem, we will take 2 divided by 1 plus 2 of P. So that will give us 2 over 3 of P plus 1 divided by 1 plus 2 of R. So that is the ratio theorem. So that will give us 1 and a third of R. With that, we now focus on OQS, OS. So OS is equals to move from O to S, it's the same as moving from OP and PS. So this is OP plus PS. We know OP is equals to P, so we need to find now we need to find PS. PS, we are told it is equals to 3PR. So we need to find what is PR. PR is minus P plus R, so that will give us 3R minus P. So we have that. We now have PS, so we can go back now and express our OS is equals to, our OP is P, we put an apostrophe, that mark to represent a vector, plus our PS is 3R minus P, so you can say it is 3R minus 3P, and that will give us 3R minus 2P. So that is our OS. So we now go to our vector here, QS. We need to know QS is equals to, QS is from here to S there. So we can say QS is equals to minus OQ plus OS, and we have this which is the same as OS minus OQ, and we have both vectors. We have vector OS, which we have found here. We also have vector OQ, which we have there. So we can now say QS is equals to, our OS is 3R minus 2P, and then we have minus our OQ is this, so we have it is 2/3 of P plus a third of R. So that is the values that will give us our vector QS. So we can open the bracket and say our QS is equals to 3R minus 2P minus 2 over 3P minus a third R. Now put the right terms together. So we have 3R minus a third R. It will give us 2 and 2 over 3R. Then minus P minus 2 over 3P. It will give us minus 2 and 2 over 3P. P. We can write this properly and say this is equals to, write it in proper form. In vectors it is preferable. So we say it is 3 times 2, that is 6, plus 2, it is 8 over 3 R minus, this would still give us the same, 8 over 3 P, and that is a value of, or that is how you express our that is our Qs in terms of R and P, or P and R, and there you are. So in this question, we are told in a certain firm, there are 6 men and 4 women employees. 2 employees are chosen at random to attend a seminar. Determine the probability that a man and a woman are chosen. Now, in this case, we have 6 men and 4 women, and we are told to determine the probability that a man and a woman are chosen. So we can use a tree diagram and say tree diagram will start like this. So these are men and this is a woman. The probability that a man is chosen is 6 out of the 10 members, and the probability that a woman is chosen is 4 out of the 10 members. Then if a man is chosen the first time, we have 9 people remaining, and there will be 5 men remaining. So the probability that a man is chosen is 5 over 9. The women, if a man is chosen the first round, then it means the women are still 4 out of the 9 members. So that is a woman. Then we come to the second branch. If a man is chosen, because the first place a woman was chosen, so men are still 6. So the probability is 6 out of 9, because one woman was chosen. And if a woman is to be chosen, the probability is a woman was chosen, so they are 3 out of 9. Because we only need to choose a woman and a man, we can stop there and say, now in the first round, a man and a man was chosen, so that one we can say it's X. The second branch is we have a man was chosen and a woman was chosen, so that's okay. One man, one woman. This one, a woman was chosen the first round and a man was chosen the second round, so that's okay. The last one, a woman was chosen the first round and the second round, so that cannot work. Therefore, from there, we can say probability of a man and a woman were chosen is equals to the probability of choosing a man and then a woman, or probability of choosing a woman and a man. So this probability, we can work them out and say this is equals to this probability, it will be 6 over 10 multiplied by 4 over 9 plus the other one is 4 over 10 multiplied by 6 over 9. 6 over 9. So this is what we have, and once you work out that, you find that you divide by 3, this will give us 3, divide by 3, this will give you 2, divide by 2, this is 5, divide by 2, this is 2. So the first one is 4 over 15 plus this other one we can simplify, that will give us by 3 is 3, by 3 is 2, by 2 is 5, by 2 is 2. So even this one is giving us 4 over 15. So once you add that, you get this is the LCM is 15. So this is 4 plus 4, and you end up is with 8 over 15. So that is how you work out that question, and you earn yourself 3 marks. So this is question number 16, 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2 on integration. Find the value of k if the integral of limits 2, 0 into bracket k cubed minus 3x squared with respect to dx is equals to 16. So the first thing here is to integrate this expression, and once we integrate, we'll put the square bracket. So when you integrate the first one, you get k x to power 4 divided by 4. The second term is you get 3x cubed divided by 3, and then you put the limits 2, 1. Of course, this will disappear. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So you end up with bracket k x to power 4 divided by 4 minus x cubed into bracket the limits to 0. So that is what we have. So when you now substitute the limits, you get, substitute 2 in place of x, you get this is equals to k multiplied by 2 to power 4 divided by 4 minus 2 cubed. That is the first limit. You put the square bracket minus, we now substitute 0, and when you substitute 0, because we have x here and x on the other term, then it means it is 0. So this gives you of course this is equals to 16. We are supposed to put 16 there. So when you work out this, you get 2 to power 4, that should give you 32. 32 divided 2 to power 4 is 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So you should get 4k minus, the other one is 8. So we have 8 is equals to 16. Take 8 to the other side, you will be left with 4k is equals to 24. Divide both sides by 4, and then we have our k is equals to 6. So that is how you work out that question, and you. So this is section 2, where you are supposed to earn yourself 50 marks. So out of the 7 questions you have been given, you are required to answer 5. But of course here we are going to answer all of them so that you understand how you go about it. So question number 17 is on series and sequence and series. We are told that the 50th term and the 10th term of an arithmetic progression are 8 and 18 and minus 2 respectively. Find the common difference and the first term. So the first thing we need to understand here is what is arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression, we popularly write it as AP, is written as A, then we have plus A plus D, this is one term, plus A plus 2D, this is the third term, plus on and on, plus the nth term is A plus n minus 1 into bracket D. So that is the arithmetic progression. So if we are told that the fifth term is 18, the fifth term using this end term will be a plus, because it is the fifth term, it is 5 minus 1 into bracket the common difference, which is d, is equals to 18, which should give us a plus, this implies that a plus 4d is equals to 18. We can call it our equation 1. Then the other one will be a plus, the other one is 10th term, it will be into bracket 10 minus 1 into bracket d is equals to minus 2, implying that a plus 9d is equals to minus 2, and that is our second expression or equation. So you realize that these two forms a simultaneous equation, so we can put the brackets there and try to work it out. So we can eliminate a. To eliminate a, we subtract. So we should end up with this. A minus a is 0. 4 minus 9d, that should give you minus 5d, is equals to 18 minus minus 2 should give you positive 20. And when you divide by 5, minus 5, divide by minus 5, then you realize that our d is equals, this is 20 minus 5, implying that our d is equals to minus 4. So we have our d. So once we have our d is equal to minus 4, you can use either equation 1 or 2 to find your a. So let's use equation 2. So we say a plus 4, that is not plus 9 multiplied by minus 4 is equals to minus 2. So 9 times minus 4, that should give you 18, that is 36. 36 minus 36, take it to the other side, you have our a is equals to 36, to be positive, the sign will change, minus 2 is equals to 34, implying that our a is equals to 34, our d is equals to minus 4, and with that you earn yourself 4 marks. So part B, determine the least number of items which must be added together so that the sum of the progression is negative. Hence, find the sum. So if the sum is negative, to get the least number, it means that this number must be less than 0. So first of all, the formula for finding the sum of in an AP is written like this: n is equals to n over 2 into bracket 2a plus n minus 1 into bracket d. No, we don't close that. So that is the formula. So to find the least number, we then say that this number, the least number, must be less than 0, because that must be added, the progression is negative. So we say n over 2, we use that bracket, and then 2 multiplied by 34 which is our first term, plus n minus 1, we close the bracket, multiply by minus 4 must be less than 0. So that is where we get the number. So when you work out this, you get this is n over 2 into bracket 2 times 34, that is 68. When you open the bracket, this will be minus 4n minus 4n. So we have 68 plus 4n, not plus but minus 4n plus 4, and we close the bracket. It should be less than 0. This, when you add 68 times plus 4, that will give you 72. So we have our n over 2 into bracket, that's 72 minus 4n must be less than 0. From there, you get, once you open the bracket, you get n times 72, that will give you 36n minus, this is n, that is 2n squared. 2n squared must be less than 0. When you divide n, must be less than 0. Divide throughout by n. So you divide by n, divide by n, divide by n. So n, and here n, one n will go, here n will disappear, and here when you divide 0 by anything is 0. So therefore it implies that we'll be left with 36 minus 2n is less than 0. Let's take 2n to the other side. It changes to positive. So we have 2n is less than, no, it's greater than, 2n is greater than 36, n is greater than, divide by 2, that is 18. So it means least number is 19. 19 is the least number where the progression is negative. So once you have that, you are required to find the sum. So you say the sum of the first 19, n is 19, is equals to 19 over 2 into bracket, our a, our 2 times our a is 34, then we say plus n is 19, 19 minus 1, you multiply by minus 4, close the bracket. So when you work out that, you get this is 19 over 2, then you have into bracket 2 times 38 is 68, 68, you minus 72, 19 divided by 2, you minus, this will be minus 4, minus 4 multiplied by 19, that will give you minus 38. So that is the sum of the first 19 terms of the arithmetic progression, and there you get 6 marks. So this is question number 18, 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, which is on graphs. Part A, you are required to complete the table below for the equation y is equals to x squared minus 4x plus 2. So we are given the table here. So you substitute the values of x in our equation or the function. So when x is 0, this will be 0, that will be 0. Minus 4 times 0, that is 0. So y will be 2. Okay, when x is 1, y is equals to 1 minus 4, that will be minus 3. Minus 3 plus 2, you get minus 1. So when x is 2, this will be 4 minus 8, that is minus 4 plus 2, that should give you minus 2. Then you have, when x is 3, you substitute, you get x is minus 1. When x is 4, you get y is 2. And when x is 5, you get y is 7. So those are the values that you get. And by feeding the correct values, you get yourself 2 marks. The second part of the question is you are provided with a grid. You draw the function y is equals to x squared plus 4x plus 2 for 0 less than or equals to x less than 5. You are instructed to use 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. So let's see how you do that. So this is a graph that I have plotted, and when you are plotting your graph, always remember you use your free hand. No use of ruler, and ensure your curve is smooth. So that is very important, these 2 points. Then you must always label your graph. So that is the function. So that is what we are supposed to plot. From there, we move to the other part and see what we are supposed to do. In section C, we are told to use a graph to solve the equation x squared minus 4x plus 2 is equals to 0. And remember, our function was x squared minus 4x plus 2 is equals to y. So what it means is we find the values of x, y is equated to 0. So what we are required here is to find the values of x when y is equals to 0. The values of x will be those points where the graph cuts the x-axis, because that is where our y is 0. So let's go back to our graph and see what are the values of x when x is equals to 0. So this is a graph that we had, and we are required to find x when y is equals to 0. So x, from what we have here, x, the value of x is where the graph cuts the x-axis, and y is equals to 0. So this is a point where y is equals to 0, and therefore our graph cuts. Remember, we had assigned 2 centimeter squares equals to 1 unit along the x-axis. So the small square represent 0.1, and here I can see we have 0.6. So x is equals to 0.6. Because of the allowance of the error, we say it is plus or minus 0.05. Again, the graph cuts the x-axis at 3.4, around 3.4, 3.35. So we say or x is 3.4 plus or minus the allowance of 0.05. So these are the values of x when y is equals to 0. So that's how you do it. Of this question, we are told by drawing a suitable line, use a graph in B to solve the equation. So this is the equation, x squared minus 5x plus 3. And remember, our function was x squared plus minus 4x plus 2 is equals to y. So what's the difference here? So we write here our x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equals to 0. We use these two equations and subtract. So x minus y is x squared minus x squared is 0, minus 4x minus 5x, it will be minus 4x plus 5, so there will be left with x. Then 2, so we are subtracting 2 minus 3 will be left with 1 is equals to y minus 0 is 0. So we have the difference between the two equations is y is equals to x minus 1. From there, we will need to plot the graph, to plot this graph, which is a linear graph, and we only need a maximum of 3 points. So we can make a table, a simple table, and say this is our x, this is our y, and therefore when x is 0, 0, y is minus 1. You substitute in our linear equation here, or linear function. So when x is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, and when x is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So we are going to use these values to plot a graph, and that will help us to solve this equation. So we are going to plot the graph of y is equals to x minus 1, and we had already plotted the we had already made a graph. So we identify this point first. Then, because this is a linear function, we are going to use a ruler to plot to draw that line. So when x is 0, y is minus 1. So this is where we have minus 1. When x is 1, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 0. So that is a point. And when x is 2, y is 1. So that is where we have our point. With these 3 points, we are going to plot this linear graph. So this is a graph that we have plotted of y is equals to x minus 1, and from this we can now solve the equation. So to solve that equation, this is a point. We get the solution by reading the values where the two graphs cut each other, and one of the point is this one, where we have so when x is we have x is equals to 0.7, and because of the allowance it is plus or minus 0.05, and the other point is this one, which is around 4.4. So we say it is 4.4 plus or minus 0.05. That is the allowance that we give to due to maybe the accuracy of the drawing, and it is allowed even in exam. You still get full marks, but make sure that you don't give a wide allowance, or you don't your value is not too low or too big. For example, if your value is 0.6, then that you can max. Or if it is 0.3, it should be as near to the correct mark as possible, and that is why we are giving an allowance of 0.05. So that brings us to the end of that question. If you do all what you have done, you earn yourself 10 marks. So this is 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2. It's on statistics, from the topic statistics. And we are told the table below shows the frequency distribution of height of 40 plants in a tree nursery. So you are given the range height of the plant 0 to 10, frequency is 4, up to where we have the frequency, the 50 to 60, where the frequency is 2. So the first question we are told is to state the model class. The model class is that class with the highest frequency, and we check on our table. This is a class that has the highest frequency, so the model class is 30 to 40. That is the model class. The second question, we are told to calculate number A, the mean height of the plants. For us to do this, we need to prepare a table which is going to help us to get the mean height, and that will be easier. So let's construct that table. So this is a table that I have constructed. You don't necessarily have to use a ruler. I have done that for my own convenience. You just use your free hand. So you have the first column, you have the class. That is our class. The second one is our x, and this x represents midpoint. Then we have our frequency. Then we will multiply the frequency multiplied by our x, which is a midpoint. Then we are going to square that, and we will have our x squared. This is because later on, in part of the question, as you see, we need to calculate the variance and the standard deviation. So our class here is from 0 to 10. Then we have 10 to 20. We have 20 to 30. 30. Then we have 30 to 40. We have 40 to 50. We have 50 to 60. So those are our classes. The midpoint of from 0 to 10 is 5. This midpoint between 10 and 20 is 15. We have 25. We have 35. We have 45. And we have 55. Then the frequency, these are the frequencies that we have been given. The frequency here is 4. We have 8. We have 10. We have 12. We have 4. And we have 2. Then we multiply f multiplied by x. So this is 5 multiplied by 4, and that will give us 20. This will give us 15 times 8 to give us 120. 25 times 10, that will give us 250. 35 multiplied by 12, that will give us 420. Then we have 45 times 4, that will give us 180. Then we have 55 times 2, and that will give us 110. We square our x, so 5 squared, that will give us 25. We have 15 squared, this will give us 225. we have 25 squared, that is 625. We have 35 squared, that will give us 1225. We have 45 squared, it will give us 2045. And finally we have 55 squared, it will give us 3025. Finally, we multiply our frequency, multiply by x squared, and this will give us 100. That is 4 times 25. This will give us 100. Then we have 8 multiplied by 225. That will give us 1800. Then 10 multiplied by 625. That is 6250. Then we have 12 multiplied by 12 for 25, and that should give us 14,700. Then we have 4 times 25. This will give us 8,100. And finally we have 6,000, 2 times 25, and that should give us 6,050. So that is our table that we have prepared. We will need to do some summation. So let's do the summation. So when you total the frequency here, you get it is 40. You total fx, you get it is 1100. Then you total fx squared, you get that's 7000. So now we got to our question. Now, to calculate the mean height of the plant, the formula for calculating the mean is x bar is equals to the summation of fx divided by the frequency. So we got to our fx, it is 1100. You divide by the sum of the frequency, which is 40, and this is going to give us 27.5. So that is the mean height of the plants. So that you earn yourself 4 marks so far. The second part of part B, we are supposed to calculate the standard deviation of the distribution. The standard deviation SD is equals to the square root of variance. You write that in form 4. So we need to get the variance, then we get the square root. So variance is equals to summation of fx squared divided by summation of f minus the mean, that is x bar, and this is equals to the summation of fx squared is at 7000. So this is at 7000 divided by the summation of is 40. We minus the mean is 27.5. So when you work out that, you should be able to get the variance is equals to 168 using your calculator, 168.75. So that is the variance, and therefore standard deviation SD is equals to standard deviation the square root of 168.75, and using your calculator you will be able to get that the standard deviation is 12.99. So that is how we work out that to get the variance. We now go to part C of this question. So part C of this question, we are required to determine the probability that a prime taken at random has a height greater than 40 centimeters. So this, we say that if you come to our table here, the primes between 40 and 50, we have 4. Between 50 and 60, we have 2. So we can say that number of primes whose height is greater than 40, we have 4 plus 2 is equals to 6. So 6 primes. Therefore, probability that the height of a prime is greater than 40 is equals to the number of primes that have that height, those are 6 primes, divided by the total number of primes, that is 40, and that will give us, this is 3 over 20 or 0.15. So that is the probability that a plant has a height greater than 40. And that brings us to the end of that question. So that's how you handle that kind of a question on statistics. So this is 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 20. We are told part A, using a ruler and a pair of compasses only, construct Roman number 1, a parallelogram ABCD with a line AB being part of it, such that AD is equals to 7 centimeter and angle BAD is equals to 60 degrees. So this is the line that we have been given, AB, and because we are told that AD is equals to 7 centimeter and BAD is equal to 60, we start by constructing angle 60 by making 2 marks from A to where I have my mark. Then you mark two other marks, and when you join this point to A, you have constructed an angle of 60. So I have joined A with a point, and that angle is 60. And in our question, we are told AD is equal to 7 centimeter. So from A, you measure 7 centimeter, and that is where you get your point D. So that is, those are 7 centimeter, and that is where point D is. Mark your point D in that position, 7 centimeter. Because it is a parallelogram, then it means from you put your compass at D, make a mark. Then at B, cross that mark, and that means that A, B, and DC will be equal. This is where our point C will be. So join the line from D to where we have our point, and also from B to where we have our mark, and that will be point C. So label your angle 60. So Roman number 2, we are told the locus of a point equidistant from AB and AD, you get 1 mark, and the Roman number 3, perpendicular bisector of BC. So let's do that. So this means that we bisect our angle 60, and we know how to bisect. You just make 2 marks. If you draw a line from A to C, it will have bisected that angle. Again, we are told that the perpendicular bisector of BC, this means that we bisect BC. So 2018 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, question number 21. The table below shows some values of curves y is equals to 2 cos x and y is equals to 3 sin x. Complete the table for the values of y is equals to 2 cos x and y is equals to 3 sin x. Correct one decimal place. Now here you use your calculator and you just substitute the value of x. We are given the row of x here. This is y is equals to 2 cos x and y is equals to 3 sin x. So these are two functions. So what you do to fill that table is this just like 3 marks. Y is equals to 30. So you sine of 30 and you multiply by 2 and that should give you 1.7. Use your calculator. Then we come to 120. 2 multiplied by the cosine of 120, you get minus 1. Then we go to 180. 2 times cos 180, you get minus 2. Then we have 270. 2 multiplied by cos 270, that should give you 0. Very easy using your calculator. Then we go to the function y is equals to 3 sin x. When x is 60, so 3 sin 60, you get that is 2.6. Remember, it is to 1 decimal place. So we go to 120. 3 sin 120, 3 sin 150, not 120. You get 1.5. Then we go to 210. So 3 sin 210, you get it is minus 1.5. Then we go to 270. So 3 sin 270, you get it is minus 3. Finally, we go to 300. So 3 sin 300, you get minus 2.6. So there, after filling those values, you earn yourself 2 marks, which is very easy. We go to part B of the question. On the grid provided on your paper, there is a grid. You can use any other grid for revision, but if you have the past paper itself, you can use that grid on your paper. So on the grid, draw the graphs of y is equals to 2 cos x and y is equals to 3 sin x for the range 0 less than or equals to x less than or equals to 360 on the same axis. So if you are able to draw that, you get yourself 5 marks, which is also not very difficult. So we are going to plot this graph of these two functions, y is equals to 2 cos x and y is equals to sin x, and see what they look like. So this is the grid that I'm going to use. I've already placed a table of containing the values of my function. So the first thing we do is to label our axis. So let's say that's our starting point, 0. The first highest value 2. The second function value is 3. So we will our y-axis 2, that is the highest. Value of y, in this case minus 3, in this case minus 2. So we go up to minus 2. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Along the x-axis, then we say this is 30, 60, 90, we have 120, we have 150, we have 180, we have 210, we have 240, we have 270, then 300, then we have 330, and finally we have 360. So that is our x-axis. So it is very important to label your axis. From there, now start function y is equals to 2 cos x. So the function y is equals to 2 cos x, when x is degrees, y is 2. So that's where we have our point. 30, y 0.7. So we have 1.7 there. when x is y, so 1 there. When x is 0, 90, y is 0. 120, we go to minus 1. 150 minus 1.7, so we have minus 1.7. 180, we have minus 2. 210, we have 1.7. We have 240 is minus 1. We have 270, we have our y is 0. We have 300, we have 1. 330, we have 17. We have 360, go to 2. So these are the values of our function y is equals to x, y is equals to x. So from there, we plot the graph of y is equals to 2 cos x. So this is a graph of y equals to 2 cos x. Always remember to label your graph. So we have y is equals to 2 cos x. And when you are plotting a graph, a curve, always use your free hand. Do not use a ruler. And ensure that your graph is as smooth as possible. So having done that, we now go ahead and plot the graph of y is equal to 3x. So for us to do that, let's first of all start by identifying the points. So y, when x is 0, y is 0. So that's where we have our first. When it is 30, y is 1.5. So y is 1.5. So somewhere there. 60, it is 6. 2.6. So it's there. 20, it is 3. Y is 3. When x is 120, y is 2.6. So that's 2.6. 150, it is 1.5. So 1.5 there. When it is 180, x is 10, y is 0. So that's our point. When it is 210, y is 1.5. So 1.5 there. 240, it is 2.6. So 2.6 should be there. When 270, it is minus 3. So we have a point there. 300, it is 2.6. 2.6. We have 330, it's 1.5. 1.5. 360, it is 0. So these are the points that we are going to use. We connect these these points, and we will come up with a graph of y is equals to 3 sin x. You use your free hand to connect the point and come up with a graph. So this is the graph of y is equals to 3 sin x. We label our graph y is equals to 3 sin x. So that is what we are supposed to do. That is to plot the graphs. We now move to C of the question and answer the questions. So this is a part C of the question to use a graph to find the x when 2 sin cos x minus 3 is equals to 0. If we take 3 minus 3 sin x to right hand side, we will have 2 cos is equal to 3 sin x. So for us to get the solution to this, then it means we need the values where the two graphs are equal or they cross each other. One of the point is that point, and you find that that point is around 32 degrees plus or minus, I can say 0.5, or the other point where the two graphs cut is that point, it is to the value 200, and we can say 200, and this is 200 and 13 plus or minus 0.5. So those are the values where the two graphs are equal, and these are the points where the two graphs cut each other. These 2 points, you read the values of x, and that is how you answer that. So the last part of the question is part D. This part D, we are told use a graph to find the values of y when 2 cos x is equals to 3 sin x. In the previous part C, we read the values of y when 2 cos x is equals to 3 sin x. So we now read the values of y. So we start this one. When you check here, it is to be so we can see when 2 cos x is equal to 3 sin x, then 1 equals 2. Read this value. It is around 1.65. You can say plus or 0.05, or the other part one, we read this value here. It is 1.5 plus or 0.5. The values when the two of y, when the functions are equal. And that brings us to the end of that question. Very easy. In a question, you can get everything, because once you plot the right graph, what remains for you is to read the values that are required. So very minimal calculations. So this is a question which I can encourage, that whenever you come across a graph question and you understand to plot that graph, then it is good to that question and accurate as possible. Important thing here is make sure you have the correct of your table. Secondly, ensure that you plot your graph using your freehand and let it be smooth, passing through all the points. From there, ensure that you are able to interpret your graph. For example, here we are told to find part C. You should always this to the other side. Then you interpret that these are the points when the two graph each other. The same case to part D, and you'll be able to get full mark. So this is question number 22, and we are told the figure below is a model of a watchtower with a square base of 10 centimeter, height PU, this is the height, 15 centimeter, and slanting edge UV is 13 centimeter, which is the same as VS, VT, and VR. Giving you the answer correct to 2 decimal places, calculate the length MP. So where is our MP? This is our M, and this is our MP. Since the base is a square, means MP is a diagonal, and so angle, that is angle MNP is equals to 90 degrees. Therefore, we can use the Pythagoras theorem to get MP. So MP is equals to the square root of 10, this side, 10 squared. That is, MP is a hypotenuse side, plus 10 squared. This is equals to the square root of 200. That is, 10 squared is 100 and 10 squared is 100. So the sum is 200, and this gives you 14.14, and that is correct to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. So that's how you work out that. Part B of the question, we are told the angle between MU. So this is the angle between, this is the line MU and the plane MNPQ. So we can say the projection of the projection is MU. So MU is the projection. By projection means that if we drop MU, it will fall on MP. Therefore, we need to get the angle between MU and MP. In part A, we already got the MP, and therefore the angle we can say is equals to angle is equals to, that is tangent tan UMP is equals to 15, that is this length, this is the height, and we had calculated MP above, so it is 14.14, and using a calculator you get it is 1.06, implying that tan inverse of 1.06 is equals to, the angle is 46.69 degrees. So that's how you work out that, and you earn yourself 2 marks, and 2 marks in A, so those are 4 marks. So let's move to part C of the question. Part C, we are told to find the length of VO. Now VO is from the top all down up to where we have point O, that line. So we can say up to that point it is 15 centimeter. So VO is equals to 15 centimeter plus the length from the surface or the plane RSTU and VV. So this will be, we had calculated MP to be 14.14 in part A. Therefore, half of that minus the square root of 13 will be the length from this point up to where we have V. So this is equal to, that is applying the Pythagoras theorem, it is 13 squared minus, then because SU is the same as MP, so half of that is, we say it is 14.14 divided by 2, and we square. You use your calculator, you get this is equals to 15 plus, that will give us 169, that is 13 squared, minus this 14.14 divided by 2 squared will give us 49.98, and when you subtract, you get it is equals to 15 plus 10.91, and using your calculator you add the 2, you get 25.91 centimeter. So that is the length of VO, that is from the top here, up to the bottom here. Part D of this question, we are told the angle between plane VST. This is our V, this is our S, and this is our T, and R, this is our R, S, T, and U. Now, for us to get the angle between the two, we need to get the length of the line, which will be the projection that makes an angle of 90 with this ST and V. So this line, let's label that point our K. We can make a sketch here and say this is our V, this is our S, and this is our T. So this is the line, this is 90, and this is where we have labeled K, and say VK is equals to this line is, we are given is 13 centimeter, and we have this part here is 5 centimeter. That is this side is 5 centimeter, and this is 5. So to get VK, it is the square root of 13 squared minus 5 squared, and this will give us 169. The square root of 169 minus 25. Using your calculator, you get this is equals to 12 centimeter. Now, having obtained the length VK, then we can use a cosine and say, now we will be getting the angle between that line VK and this line at the middle of this plane. So we can use a cosine and say cos theta. So we can call this one cos theta is equals to 5, that is the length. So we get the cosine of theta is 5 because we are taking the middle of this line here. Therefore, we say it is 5 divided by 12. That will give us 0.42, and cos inverse of 0.42 is equals to 65.38 degrees. So that brings us to the end of that question. It is in the Form 4 topic, which we call three-dimensional geometry. So if you have covered that topic, you should be comfortable to do this question. So if you want to see more of this question, just open a Gmail account and subscribe to my channel, Teacher wa Mtaani, and you'll be getting so many other questions plus lessons in my channel. So question number 23, we are told the table below shows monthly income tax rate for a year, for a certain year. So we have been given the table here. So for the first, from 0 to 11,180, you are taxed at the rate of 10%. This means that you calculate the tax here will be 10% of this amount. Then you move to the second bracket, which is 15%. So below here we have, in that year, a monthly personal relief of 1,280 shillings was around. In a certain month of that year, Sarah earned a basic salary of 52,000, a house allowance of 7,800, and a commuter allowance of 5,000 Kenyan shillings. So the first question, calculate Roman number 1, Sarah's taxable income. Taxable income, we add the basic salary, which is 52,000. You add to the house allowance of 7,800. You add to the commuter allowance of 5,000, and when you add up this, you get it is 64,800. So that is taxable income. All the monies that he earned in that particular month. Then we go to the second part, Roman number 2. Roman number 2, it says the net tax payable by Sheila in that month. So here we need to make a bit of calculations. In part A, we have seen that taxable income of Sheila is 64,800. So we need to calculate the tax. We move the first bracket. The first bracket is 10%. So 10% of so we say 11,180 multiplied by 10% is the same as 0.1, and this is give us 1,118. So that is the first bracket. Then we will calculate taxable income is 64,800. We subtract the amount in the first bracket, which is 11,180. We subtract taxable income, and we will be left with this is 0, this is 2, then we have this is 6, we have this is 3, and this is 5. So that is the amount remaining. If you subtract this amount, this amount from this one, that is we subtract 21,714. We subtract 11,100. We get the difference is 4, 3. Then we have 5. We have 0, and so the next bracket we will calculate 10,534, and you multiply by 15%, which is the same as 0.15, and that will give us 1,580 using your calculator, 0.1. So this is the amount in the second bracket. We are through with that. We subtract this amount from our figure here, so we will subtract 10,534 from the taxable income, the balance, and we will be left with 6. We have 8, we have 0, we have 3, and we have 4. Now we move to the next bracket, that is 10,534 multiplied by 20%, which is 0.20, is equals to, when you multiply that, you get 2,106.8. So we are through with that. We subtract that amount from our taxable income, 534. When you subtract that, you will be left with 32,552. We move to the next bracket, so it is 10,534. You multiply by 25%, which is the same as 0.25. This will give you 2,633.5. Then we subtract that amount, so we subtract 10,534 from the amount. We will be left with 22,180. We are told above that amount we multiply it, the rate was 30%. So you say 22,080, you multiply by 30, and that will give you 6,605.5. So once we have done that, we are going to total the tax amount and then we calculate the tax paid. Using your calculator, you total this, you should get 14,043.80. So this is the total tax, but then we are told that there was a relief of 1,280. So we say less relief. So we subtract 1,280 from the tax that we have obtained. So we get this is equals to 12, using your calculator, 673 and 80 cents. So that is a tax that Sarah was to pay that month. That is 12,607. We go to part B of the question. So when you subtract, you should get, using your calculator, you should get 12,763.80. So this is the tax that he was to pay, 12,763 and 80 cents. So that's how you do that question. Let's go to part B of this. So part B of the question, we are told in July that year, Sarah's basic salary was raised by 4%. Determine Sarah's net salary in July. Remember, taxable income we found to be equals to 64,800. Then it means the basic salary was 52,000. So if it was it was raised by 4%, then it means that this is to be also to be taxed. So we are multiplying 52,000. You multiply by 1.04. That is the increase, and you multiply by that will be in the range of that percent. So we multiply by 3%, and we get that what was added is 624. 624 is a tax that is to be made from the increase of the salary. So it means tax we had obtained 12,763.8. So we add the new tax, which is 624 and 0. When you add this, using your calculator, you get it is 13,387.80. So a new tax that Sarah is to pay. Now, for us to get the salary, the net salary, it means that net salary will be from the taxable income. This is 64,800. He was added, it was raised by 4% of the basic salary, so it is 52,000 multiplied by 0.04. That is the salary increase, and then we minus the new tax, which is 13,387.80. So when you add that, then your total, the net salary should come to 53,492 and 20 cents. So this is the amount. So this is the net salary for that month. Salary is Kenyan shillings 53,492 492 and 20 cents. This is the amount that he got maybe in his bank after all the deductions. So that's how you work out that, and that brings us to the end of that question. It's not difficult. This is in Form 3 income tax, where we did about calculation of tax.